Imagine a tiny Caribbean island that became the centerpiece of one of history's most intense global battles, not with tanks and missiles, but with spies, secret deals, and shadowy alliances. Jamaica, often seen as a paradise of beaches and reggae, was a hotbed of Cold War intrigue, where the world's greatest superpowers played their high-stakes game of chess. This idyllic island's proximity to both Cuba and the Panama Canal gave it strategic importance that rivaled much larger nations. But what made Jamaica so crucial to this global conflict, and why did it attract such intense international attention? And what secrets lie buried in its history of espionage and diplomacy? What was the Cold War? To understand Jamaica's role, we need to unpack the Cold War itself. It wasn't a traditional war with battlefields. Instead, it was a decades-long struggle between the United States and the Soviet Union for global dominance. This clash of ideologies, capitalism versus communism, shaped the world from the late 1940s to the early 1990s. The Cold War reached every corner of the globe, and Jamaica, despite its size, became a pivotal player due to its strategic location, natural resources, and shifting political tides. The geopolitical chessboard. Let's talk geography. Jamaica's position in the Caribbean, close to the United States, the Panama Canal, and communist Cuba, made it an ideal outpost for surveillance, naval operations, and intelligence activities. Whoever controlled Jamaica controlled a critical link between the Americas, Europe, and beyond. But it wasn't just geography. Jamaica's natural resources, particularly bauxite, a key ingredient in aluminum production, further heightened its importance. During the Cold War, Jamaica's bauxite industry accounted for nearly 50% of the country's exports, making it a coveted prize for the global powers vying for influence. A nation caught in the crossfire. Jamaica's political landscape was equally intriguing. After gaining independence in 1962, the country found itself at a crossroads. The United States viewed Jamaica as a vital ally in the fight against communism, funneling aid and military support to ensure its loyalty. Programs like the Alliance for Progress aimed to counteract the appeal of socialism by promoting pro-American policies. On the other hand, the Soviet Union, along with Cuba under Fidel Castro, sought to sway Jamaica towards socialism. When Michael Manley's government leaned into socialist policies during the 1970s, the island became a Cold War battleground. Manley's alliances with Cuba and other socialist states raised alarm bells in Washington, leading to covert efforts by the CIA to destabilize his government. Espionage on the island. Here's where things get really intriguing. Jamaica became a playground for spies. Both the CIA and the Soviet KGB conducted covert operations on the island. The CIA infiltrated political parties, labor unions, and media outlets to sway public opinion and electoral outcomes. Their goal? To ensure a government that aligned with American interests. For example, the CIA's involvement with Edward Seaga, leader of the Jamaican Labour Party, JLP, was instrumental in the 1976 election. Funds and strategic support were covertly funneled to ensure the opposition's strength against Michael Manley's pro-socialist government. Similarly, the CIA is believed to have played a role in economic destabilization efforts, creating conditions to discredit Manley's leadership and policies. The Soviets, meanwhile, weren't sitting idly by. The KGB backed pro-socialist factions in Jamaica, providing financial and logistical support to bolster their influence. It's even rumored that Soviet agents helped establish a secret intelligence unit within Jamaica to monitor political opponents and U.S. activities. Allegedly, Soviet operatives coordinated cultural exchanges and training programs to embed socialist ideologies deeper into Jamaican society. One particularly chilling example of espionage involves the infamous 1980 election. This was no ordinary election. It was a bloodbath. Over 800 people lost their lives in politically motivated violence, much of it fueled by foreign meddling. Guns and money flowed freely to both sides, with Jamaica's streets becoming a proxy battlefield for the Cold War. There are even unconfirmed reports that arms shipments were intercepted on their way to political factions, adding to the chaos and danger of the era. Seaga and his JLP won the 1980 election in a landslide with strong US support. Seaga was even the first world leader to meet with US President Ronald Reagan, who took office in January 1981. Untold stories of intrigue. And then there are the stories that remain shrouded in mystery. For instance, did the CIA have a hand in the attempted assassination of Michael Manley? While evidence remains circumstantial, the allegations are hard to ignore. Manley's socialist policies and ties to Cuba made him a prime target for US interests. Another tale that sparks endless speculation involves the attempted assassination of reggae legend Bob Marley in 1976. Marley's music and influence extended beyond entertainment. He was seen as a unifying figure in Jamaica's turbulent political climate. Some believe that his attack was orchestrated by those wanting to silence his voice and potentially his political sway. Jamaica's diplomatic tightrope. Throughout all this chaos, Jamaica managed an impressive balancing act. The island maintained diplomatic ties with both the Western and Eastern blocs. It was a member of the non-aligned movement, which sought to remain independent of superpower alliances. This allowed Jamaica to leverage its position for economic and political gains, securing aid from both sides while trying to chart its own course. Jamaica's leaders, from Michael Manley to Edward Seaga, navigated these treacherous waters with varying degrees of success. Manley leaned towards socialism, strengthening ties with Cuba and the Soviet Union, while Seaga aligned firmly with the United States, bringing Jamaica back into the Western fold during the 1980s. Here are 4 astonishing facts about Jamaica's Cold War era that you probably didn't know. 1. The CIA allegedly funded political gangs. It's widely believed that the CIA funneled money and weapons to political factions in Jamaica, fueling gang violence that still haunts the country today. 2. Soviet submarines in the Caribbean. Soviet submarines were reportedly spotted in Caribbean waters near Jamaica, emphasizing the region's strategic importance. 3. Jamaica's role in the Cuban Missile Crisis. Though rarely mentioned, Jamaica's proximity to Cuba made it a key observation post for US intelligence during the Cuban Missile Crisis. 4. Spy versus spy showdowns. Jamaican authorities occasionally uncovered espionage plots, including intercepted communications and covert operations, showcasing the island's active role in the intelligence game. Jamaica's role in the Cold War is a testament to the island's strategic significance and resilience. It wasn't just a backdrop for global powers to clash. It was an active player, navigating a dangerous game of espionage and diplomacy. From political intrigue to shadowy spy networks, Jamaica's Cold War history is as fascinating as it is complex. The next time you think of Jamaica, remember it's not just about beaches and sunshine. This little island has played an outsized role in shaping global history. So, what other untold stories lie hidden in Jamaica's past? Stay tuned, because the truth is often stranger than fiction. Please subscribe to our channel today if you haven't already done so. You can also check out other videos on this channel impacting Jamaica.